Here's a piece of news you've all been waiting for. Sam Bankman-Fried, the former CEO of FTX, has finally been arrested by the Royal Bahamas police force. The arrest came after the U.S. filed criminal charges against Bankman-Fried, the statement said, and the nation expects the U.S. to request the Bahamas extradite Bankman-Fried in short order. So on Tuesday, December the 13th, at the House hearing, Sam Bankman-Fried was expected to testify, followed by a testimony from the current FTX CEO John J. Ray III, which is unclear as of now if that's going to happen anymore. Now on Wednesday, December 14th, the Senate will host a panel of experts along with FTX spokesperson and Shark Tank investor Kevin O'Leary, which is not very loved in the crypto community right now, and Ben McKenzie, who is best known for his acting role in the OC. Over the pandemic, he became very skeptic of crypto and is currently working on a book slated for a 2023 release on the crypto industry and fraud. Other people that I saw confirmed included Professor Hillary J. Allen of American University, which I looked into a little bit. It looks like she's been a very outspoken critic of the fintech industry. So I think my hope is that this doesn't become as a panel to just bash on crypto and they actually get to the bottom of how this fraud specifically was committed. If you are interested in watching the hearings live, I will be posting the links to their YouTube channel right in the comments, the House tomorrow and the Senate on Wednesday. Finally, some proper legal action against Sam Bankman-Fried. I mean, we've just seen him so far go on his apology tour where the interviewers failed to really get those direct answers out of him that we've been waiting for. I mean, it's important to remember that Sam is highly trained at public communications, how to say the right thing at the right time and changing the narrative so he still comes out of it looking the best. Andrew Sorkin failed to really pin him down at the New York Times interview, but Stephanopoulos was actually able to lock him down a bit more.
If Alameda is borrowing the money that belongs to FTX depositors, that's a bright red line, isn't it?
There are a lot of cases where that's actually explicitly part of the programs and that are
but
happening.
Not here. Here it says that the digital assets may not be loaned to FTX trading. They can't be loaned out.
There existed a borrow lending facility on FTX. And I think that's probably covered, I don't remember exactly where, but somewhere else in the terms of service.
But they'd have to approve of that. They're saying they didn't approve of it here. They're saying you approved of it.
If you rewind to the beginning of FTX, where some customers were I think in line with sort of existing relationships that they've had, at least in some cases, wiring money straight to Alameda Research in order to trade on FTX.
So you do know, and you did know, that FTX deposits were being funneled to Alameda.
So I was vaguely aware that that was how some wires were being sent in the first place.
Didn't that set off alarm bells in your head?
He was stuttering and struggling to get the right answer out, but he still was able to kind of go around in circles. And whenever he really didn't know what to say, he just ended up with, I don't have access to that data anymore, or, oh, I wish I paid better attention. I didn't notice it, or it was Alameda's fault. It wasn't until CoffeeZilla's amazing journalism that pinned Sam down on a Twitter Spaces hosted by Mario, where he straight up admitted that they were not treating user funds differently.
Are you confident today, as the CEO of FTX, this has nothing to do with Alameda, are you confident today to say that those are absolutely real and they exist and they're present, people are backed one-to-one on client digital assets?
So I think, and again, I'm just taking a stab here, but I think what happened is that if you look at especially a lot of the withdrawals that happened, those withdrawals were not necessarily only coming from people who never used margin trading or futures or staking or anything else. Those weren't just withdrawals from people who were keeping one-to-one backed or were sort of just keeping them as pure spot balances. And it was omnibus wallets between the various categories. And so I think that the answer to your question is that a number of those assets were withdrawn by people who had balances on the exchange, potentially in the few days prior to the collapse. And if you wanted to think about it this way, it could be that that happened, and then when the collapse sort of completed, the that effectively meant that there was, if you wanted to put it this way, like fungibility created during those withdrawals between assets for people who had and had not been using.
But that means that there is no separation of funds. If there's fungibility between two different buckets of category, there are no buckets. It's just one bucket. Everyone's taking out of the bucket.
So what does that mean? Let's say you and I, we both open FTX accounts. You put your money onto their exchange saying, hey, I don't want any risk. I want my money to be safe. So I need it to be backed 1-to-1. And I don't want them to be used for any kind of investment decisions or any risky moves. I come in saying, hey, I'm the opposite. I assume the risk, but put me into a different earn program that I might make some money on. Come crash day, we're both treated the same. It's just whoever runs to the platform first to get their money out is able to get their money out, which is not in line with their terms of service. And Sam responded saying, yeah, I mean, when the crash was happening in those 3 days, I wanted to treat all customers the same, thinking that's going to sound cute. You don't get to do that. That's why there's a terms and service in play, because I signed up for something else and you signed up for something else. Lex Friedman phrased a question that I feel like has been playing on our minds, or at least for me, every time I see Sam doing an interview or tweeting, I'm always wondering, is this guy incompetent, insane, or purely evil? I feel like I can't buy into the incompetence because everything seems much more planned out. But insane and evil, I feel like it's a combination of both. Sometimes it really feels like he believes what he's saying, or he's just that much of a good liar. But let me know what you think. I will be back for more updates, and I will be doing the next video also on Twitter files. I don't know if you've been keeping up, but it's a lot of saucy information.